po si Luis Pedron. Kasama ko po sa Jamila. Nandito po tayo sa Green Card with Atty Gehi. Maraming salamat po sa pagtangkilik niyo po sa amin. At nagpapatuloy po kami na mag-inform sa inyo tungkol sa US immigration. Ang dami-dami pong nangyayari kasi may bago pa tayong presidente sa Amerika, si President Biden. So tatanungin po natin si Atty Gehi, pero magre-request po kami sa inyo. Please comment and like and share po sa napapanood nyo ngayon sa Facebook Live at saka mga different platform. Ngayon po, bago po tayo tanungin si Atty Gehi, we have Jamila Rose Lineses who will be asking us the questions and introduce our Atty Gehi. Ladies and gentlemen, Jamila Rose Lineses.
Hello po mga kababayan natin dyan. Mabuhay, magandang umaga, magandang tanghali, magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. Sa mga Ilocano na viewers po natin, naimbag nga aldaw, yo amin apo. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to all our Saudi and Middle Eastern viewers. And annyeonghaseyo, konnichiwa, namaste, tashideleg to all our Himalayan viewers. A pleasant afternoon to all of you. And I am very proud and humbled to be introducing to you all our guest for our show, Green Card with Atty Gehi. Green Card with Atty Gehi, to introduce him, he is the founder of the firm as an accomplished lawyer who has appeared on CNN, ABC World, News with Brain Ross, Fox News. He is an untapped and unprecedented resource for immigration law, and because of his vast knowledge and innate dedication to helping others, he has written the book Immigration for Everyone. Atty Naresh Gehi is an ardent advocate for justice, and with his previous work with the United Nations, he's also a distinguished authority in political asylum, another aspect of the law he concentrates on. Gehi has represented high-profile clients like Bollywood celebrities like Shah Rukh Khan and has fought and settled a case against Trump model management. Gehi's unparalleled track record and supreme commitment to serving the community has led him to serve on the finance team of the former First Lady and former presidential candidate Hillary Clinton. His office number is 718-263-5999, and his office in Jackson Heights, newly opened office, is 7409 37th Avenue, Suite 205. Again, that is 718-263-5999, gehilaw.com, 7409 37th Avenue, Suite 205. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you our guest for today, Atty Naresh Gehi. Welcome po.
Firstly, I don't know first to thank you, Jamila, for such a fabulous introduction. East or West, you are the best. Now, firstly, our enormous debt of gratitude to Louis Pedron, Sir John, Jamila, Sakshi Wilson, as well as Shilpa Jaikar for hosting the show today. So as usual, we all are going to begin with the headlines, because a lot of people who watch our show, and they come from different communities, the ones that Jamila missed in telling them a hello, I'll be adding some to the list. One of them is konnichiwa for the Japanese, yaksha mash for the Polish, spasiba for our Russians, engerunda for our Keralites, as well as salam alaikum, hello to everybody else. So this show is meant for all immigrants. This show is meant for people who want to know everything that is going on in the world of immigration. So let's shoot the headlines for the day. What is just happening in immigration right now? So the president is introducing the Citizenship Act of 2021. That is fantastic. Now, he is planning on giving green cards to people who are undocumented in this country. And it's an 8-year path to obtain your citizenship. Has the law been passed? The answer is no. Things are still in the works because he cannot do it all by himself. He will have to take it to the Congress of the United States. The House is within the reach of the Democratic Party, but the Senate is where we're having a problem. So we'll have 50 votes in the Senate from the Democratic Party, but we still need 10 more votes from Republicans. Then only the law will be passed. If not, we all are going to be unfortunately stuck in the same circle that we have been over here for the past nearly 25 years. So we'll pray, we'll make sure, we all will work hard to make sure that we support the administration in order to ensure that immigrants benefit from the Citizenship Act of 2021.
Attorney, I was going to ask you, but even though this is still being passed as a bill in the Congress and the Senate, I think you emphasized that we should prepare. Anyone who might be in this category should already prepare, and tell us the importance of actually hiring a lawyer instead of doing it yourself.
Now, the very first thing is that how do you prepare is a big question. Now, suppose you had a case in immigration before. It's important for you to start speaking to a lawyer so that he can grab a copy of your own file. Make sure that he knows what you have done in the past. And after that, he will be prepared to file the papers in a way that it will not backfire upon you. Because if there's a credibility issue in your case, a credibility commonly means a mismatch. It can wind you up in troubled waters. Now let's take some examples. Firstly, I must thank Louis because viewers have asked Louis to explain everything in simple terms. So Louis, I'm going to explain everything in simple terms today. I know that law can be complicated, but my job here on this platform today is to make sure that our Filipino community, as well as other immigrant communities that are watching this program, understand everything. So what does this mean to us? You filed a case in the past. After you filed the case, you're not sure about the entire data. Your case was denied. You have a deportation order. You failed to appear. Or you are bullied by a notario. A notario is a person who's not a lawyer. You went to your accountant to file your immigration case, the big mistake that people make. And that case got denied. So the bottom line is, before the law comes into place, start getting your file in order. There's a saying in English that prevention is better than cure. Start the preventive stage now. Get your paperwork in order. Make sure that if you're undocumented, even if you have a deportation order, there is nothing for you to worry. Speak to an accomplished lawyer. Speak to someone who can start reviewing your paperwork, because immigration law is very complicated. It looks easy, but at the end of the day, things can really get complicated. So that's what I'd like to say to people as to how they need to start working on.
Attorney, I have one short particular question. There's this person who doesn't really have a deportation order, but he got scared during his interview for his green card and did a no-show. So would that person still be able to do a do-over or do a second interview, even though he was a no-show to his own interview, or green card interview?
All right. The issue is that if he did not show up, he should still be getting his file, because we need to look at what the immigration lawyer officer wrote in the file. Now that is going to be critically important. The big misconception is that people think that when the new law passes, they're going to look at the new information. The answer is no. Immigration is first going to look at your old file. After looking at your old file, they're going to make a decision as to how they want to rule on the case.
And
Important to us.
Attorney, I was going to ask you, is there such a thing as transferring? Like, for instance, the person started not having a good relationship with his past lawyer and wants to transfer, for instance, to your office. Like, what do they need to do? Do they just give you their, their number of their case? And
Okay,
can they
so now
actually
let's talk.
transfer?
Now let's talk about the topic for the day, Louis.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, sure.
Today, we are going to talk about complicated issues in marriage-based immigration.
Right. We actually have a lot of questions for you about that topic.
Yeah. So what happens is that people get married.
Right.
In America, as you rightly know, marriages are not working out in a lot of cases. It's a proven fact because you're dealing with a different society altogether. And in the world, that's a trend right now. So you got married, and now there are different situations that can arise. And we are going to talk about it step by step. And then we are going to explain our viewers. So we have a lot of questions from our viewers. And I believe Jamila had some questions about it. So Jamila, you can ask me some questions so that so we all can explain to our viewers, if they're in that situation, how can they address that situation is something that we're going to discuss today.
Sure, Jamila's going to ask you questions, but right before that, we have the phone numbers for free consultation for Attorney Gehi and Gehi and Associates. The phone number is 718-263-5999. So Jamila will be asking the topic of today.
Okay, thank you for handing me over the microphone. And the first question is, let's say you are married to a U.S. citizen or green card holder, but that U.S. citizen or green card holder does not want to appear for the interview. So what happens next?
Firstly, that's a very difficult situation. And now let's look at people's mindsets. Now, the best thing to do is to talk in layman's terms here. This is the person whose name is John Smith. He is an American citizen. And he's married Mary, who comes from the Philippines. Now, Mary is here from the Philippines. She married John, and she met him at a pub in New York. They fell in love, and Mary thought life will be beautiful. Now, John applied for Mary's paperwork. And now, Mary is from the Philippines, and he is mentally abusing Mary. They're fighting every day. And he's telling Mary, listen, I don't think so. We have a good relationship. And Mary is witnessing a lot of torture. Now, John has applied for a green card. Mary got the work permit or she got the receipt notice. But now John is saying, I'm sorry, I cannot live with you. Now, Mary is in a difficult situation. So now there are two things which are happening with Mary. One is the yes and no situation that happens. So John is telling her, yes, I love you. Next day he's telling her, I don't love you. That's the worst situation for Mary to be in. Because John cannot make up his mind. But it is Mary's duty to protect her legal rights. Mary should not wait for the interview. She needs to have her own lawyer come into the picture. Now, Mary's answer is going to be sometimes that John's lawyer is handling the case. John's lawyer cannot help Mary because this is a conflict of law situation. So immediately, Mary should have her lawyer step in, and Mary may have legal rights depending upon the case. If she has entered into a bona fide marriage, a bona fide marriage is a marriage for love. A bona fide marriage is a marriage wherein the parties intend to establish a life together, if Mary can prove that, and if she's a victim of abuse, she does not need John's signature at all. She may be able to qualify under the Violence Against Women's Act, which equally applies to men. So Mary should seek assistance of a lawyer right away. When John has filed the papers, John is telling her, I'm not coming with you to the interview. Immediately, Mary needs to plan her rights. She needs to plan her paperwork in order to ensure that she protects herself.
Jamila, I think you have more questions.
Yes, I do have more questions. And the next question is, if you are married to a U.S. citizen or green card holder and you are given a 2-year conditional green card, but then in the course or in the process, the same green card holder or U.S. citizen does not want to help continue the process, then what happens next?
Right. So let's break this up into 2 steps. First, we spoke about a situation wherein you're married and you have not had your green card interview. That was the first step. But now you got a 2-year green card because you went for the interview. You're living here. But now after you got a green card, your US citizen spouse or your green card holder spouse doesn't want to live with you. And now the time for you to renew your green card is coming up. You are in a difficult situation. Now, this is more difficult than what you can think. This is more difficult than what you can think. Why? Because when you have a 2-year green card, after that you have to apply for the removal of your conditions under Section 219 of the Immigration and Nationality Act. Now, when you apply, if your case gets denied, this is a problem. If your case gets denied, you will be sent before an immigration judge, where an immigration is going to tell you, sir or ma'am, tell me you don't have a green card anymore. Why should I not be sending you back home? Then you have to fight that case before the judge. So if you got a 2-year green card, and if your spouse is acting up, you don't have to beg in front of him. You don't have to touch his feet. Try to make the marriage work. But if it's not working out, stand up for your legal rights. Fight aggressively. And if you fight, you may still be eligible to get your green card. We've handled many cases from the Filipino community wherein people have complicated legal issues. So these are some of those areas wherein complications come in. And you should fight them.
I know a lot of relationships are technically complicated, but I think Jamila has more complicated questions.
So you're saying technically complicated? I think all marriages are complicated.
A lot of relationships are complicated. A lot of relationships. Jamila, any more questions?
Yes, we actually have more questions. And the third question would be, if you're a victim of abuse during the relationship, let's say you are married to a U.S. citizen or green card holder, and this same green card holder or U.S. citizen is not helping with the application, then what will happen next?
All right, so let's take an example. You crossed the border and you came to this country. See, this person did not even come with a visa. Mm-hmm. And she is married to an American citizen. She may have children. She may not have children. And now, this husband is telling her, I'm never going to sponsor you for the green card. And this lady is crying, she's in tears. Remember, in this particular situation, the husband has not filed a single paper. but he's an American citizen. There's good news for this woman. Even if this man has not filed the paperwork, she can still self-sponsor herself for a green card if she's a victim of abuse. So no paperwork in immigration. You're filing your own paperwork saying, hey, he's treating me in a very cruel and inhuman way. He is treating me in a cruel and inhuman way, and I cannot take this torture anymore, and I want to self-sponsor myself for a green card. So this lady can get a work permit. She can get a social security card. She may also be eligible to travel outside if she gets a travel document. So these are things for you to remember. And if that happens, if the immigration officer believes her, she can still qualify for a green card in the US without any signatures from the US citizen spouse. So now, there's something else I want to talk about. People are still thinking that I cannot have a same-sex marriage. Now, I've also seen instances, Jamila, wherein a man is married to a woman, and after that, the papers were filed, and this person did not show up for the interview, got a divorce. Now, this person is getting married to someone else. This person who got divorced, who is actually a foreigner, commonly referred to as the alien, is getting married to someone else who's a member of the same sex. So even first he married a woman, he left the woman because he was not attracted to women anymore. He married a man. If he loves that man, he may still be eligible for a green card because DOMA has been repealed. DOMA is Defense of Marriage Act has been repealed. And now a man can marry a man. A woman can marry a woman, and they can still apply for the green card for each other. So these are some complicated situations that happen. And sometimes you're going to encounter a situation wherein you have a newly married couple. After 5 months, the spouse is going to say, I want to file for an annulment. No sooner you hear the word divorce or the word annulment, retain a good lawyer. Like in our firm, we do immigration, we do divorces. So we can understand that better. Because sometimes an immigration lawyer doesn't know about divorces. A divorce lawyer doesn't know about immigration. So there's a gap that gets involved. And then in our law firm, we try to bridge that gap so that we are able to assist the client. That is critically important for all of us to know.
Attorney, how about those people that they're on their 10th year of their green card, but did not tell the immigration that, and they want to do the citizenship now, but they did not tell immigration that they're already married to another U.S. citizen? Is that complicated? Is there a solution to that?
Let me simplify the question here. You have a person who got married to an American citizen, and he got his green card. And after he got the 10-year green card, he divorced that person.
Yes.
Through whom you got it. And now this person wants to get married to someone else. So in that case, when you want to get married to someone else, and if you are sponsoring that person, immigration has the right to look upon that petition with suspicion. Want to see whether you got a green card only to circumvent the immigration laws of the United States. They want to see whether you had married that person for love or you just married the person for the green card. They have the right under Section 246 of the Immigration and Nationality Act to see whether you married that person only to get the green card or whether you married that person for love. That is the first step which it should be established. So what I tell people is you got a green card now, you got a 10-year green card, apply for your citizenship, but be careful when you apply for a citizenship after that divorce. Because the officer can ask you questions about the divorce. It's your job to convince him. It's not his job to convince you. Because under the law, the preponderance of evidence standard clearly dictates that you have to convince the immigration officer that you married that person for love and nothing else. Even when you go for citizenship, that's why people take lawyers with them at the interview. I know that sometimes it's going to shock your conscience when I'm going to tell you whether you're allowed to take a lawyer. My answer is yes. You are allowed to take a lawyer with you at the interview. And that is critically important.
Yes, that's very important. So do check out Attorney Gehi and Gehi and Associates. Their phone number 718-263-5999. And of course, we will give you more information about their law firm. Jamila, do you have more questions about our topic today?
That's a mute. Yes, we actually have a question about this topic. For example, if you are married to a US citizen or green card holder, and suppose you have a criminal record or have some charges against you, will this be something that USCIS will look upon when you apply for your green card?
All right. So even when you want to apply for a green card, it's a difficult situation, but they will look at everything. So it doesn't matter if the case was dismissed, you pled guilty to a misdemeanor, you pled guilty to a felony, those things are definitely going to come up for sure. So be careful. Don't just apply on your own. There's a big reason behind it. Because if your crime is an aggravated felony, you'll be surprised when you go to the immigration office, they can handcuff you and put you in jail right there. So therefore, when you have any criminal record, even if you're applying for citizenship, please be careful.
Attorney, when people get married and right before their interview, are there still spot checks wherein they visit the couple and
Yes, they do.
in their house?
Yes, they do.
Oh, they still do that?
Yes, they do. That's never stopped. And another question which I get asked all the time, what kind of immigration questions can be asked at the interview? The answer is they can ask you anything. Oh, can they ask me personal questions? Sure. Can they ask me very, romantically related questions? Sure, they can.
Yeah.
Federal law gives them the power to act because they want to see whether this is a real relationship or not. But it doesn't matter that, sometimes I know that some communities are very conservative and they don't want to discuss some issues. I'm sorry, folks, no luck for you. You will have to answer the question because that officer is doing his job. And you have to respect the government. They want to make sure that this marriage is a marriage for love. Because how can you know about a couple when they're not together? Look at their perspective too. If they ask you the question, answer it. Don't take any offense to it. And I tell people, when you're at an immigration interview, just think that you're going for an exam. Don't get charged up when you get a question like, oh my God, I'm uncomfortable answering it. You are going to fail the interview. Because the law is the law.
Are the couples in the green card or interview, are they interviewed separately or together?
That's a very interesting question, Louis. Nowadays, if the officer suspects you, he can call you for a Stokes interview and he's going to separate you.
Wow.
He's going to ask you questions up to 3 hours or 4 hours, and your answers have to match with your spouse's answers. And that is a very difficult thing. No, you get a call for a second interview. Don't take a chance, get a lawyer involved because you have senior people who are going to review your application. So be very careful when you're applying for your green card. So the common question I get, hey, I'm happily married. You have to be happily married. My marriage is real. Your marriage has to be real. But then why do I need a lawyer? Because you're facing an exam. Because you want to pass the exam. It's like going to school and you are in your 8th grade And hey, I'm taking all the classes. Why do I need a teacher? Because you want to pass the exam, because you want to have a good grade. If you fail the exam, there's a blemish on your record. That's why you prefer taking a lawyer if you can afford one. That's my recommendation. Of course, you're a master of your own life, but if things get complicated, Louis, instead of spending $3,500, you're going to spend $10,000 to $20,000. And it's a proven fact that most lawyers really earn a living, not by the initial part of the case which they make, but when the case turns complicated, when people act on their own, that's the time a lawyer actually makes the money. So smart people, what they do, on day one, they'll tell you, how much is your fee? This is the amount. It's a small amount. They'll retain a lawyer there. People who mess up their cases, they spend $15,000, up to $50,000 too. Trust me, the case became complicated and there was no need for it. Well, the person said, I went to my accountant. Your accountant is an accountant, he's not a lawyer. You tell me, you come to me, Louis, you ask me to do the job of an accountant. I have a degree in law, I can read it, but I will not take up your accounting matter because I do not have the expertise. People think that immigration is about filling forms. Do you know one thing? Every form that you're filling, that has a law behind it. The affidavit of support which you're filling, that has a law behind it. The marriage petition which you're filling has a law behind it. Be safe rather than sorry.
Right. And they do have the right to do payment plan, right? It's not like a...
Payment plans, most law firms do offer, yes. You know,
Good.
and even our law firms offer it. And plus, and the good news is that we've had clients from the Philippines actually contacting us. We have clients from all of the United States that we work with. We have clients from Saudi Arabia. We have clients from every second part of the world, let me tell you. We have clients from Russia too. We have clients from everywhere in the world at this stage. From Guyana, from Trinidad, from Suriname, or just talk about it. And actually, as I said last time, we had a client who visited us from Iceland too. So I told him, I'd love to come in and ski in Iceland next time when I'm there.
Yes, Attorney Gehi and his law firm is highly recommended. Please call them 718-263-5999 for your first free consultation. Jamila, we have more questions beyond our topic.
Yes, we actually have a question, and the question is actually in English and Tagalog, so I'll do my best translating it. It's from Karen, and this is the question. I will say it first in Tagalog. My case po kasi is I'm married in the Philippines, pero 10 years na ako separated sa ex-husband ko. On process ang annulment, pero kaka-file pa lang sa Pilipinas ngayon po. I have my boyfriend here in New Jersey. Pinoy po siya. And almost 3 years in the relationship na kami. And actually, may isang baby na kami, 1-year-old and 3 months old na anak namin. Now, nandito po ako sa New Jersey. Kararating ko lang on February 5, 2021. My boyfriend is a US citizen and we want to file a divorce po sana para makapagpakasal po kami dito. So, the translation would be is that Karen is married in the Philippines.
The little that I understand that she's married to someone and she has a boyfriend right now.
Yes. Nice.
Become Louis has been an expert in Tagalog now.
Wow.
I said,
I see.
I've started speaking in Tagalog now. Kumusta, babute, walang anuman, kuya.
Salamat.
So, I've learned a lot already. Don't worry about it. So what I understand here is that she has a husband plus she has a boyfriend. She wants to get a divorce from her husband. Then she wants to marry a boyfriend. And she has a kid from the boyfriend at this stage.
Perfect. Galing.
All right. I said, I'm very...
You got it. Oh my God.
That's me. So what we do here is if the husband is in New York, then there is jurisdiction. We can start the divorce if she's here, get the divorce out, then she can marry the boyfriend and get a green card. So there's a great possibility of happening. And, she can see us for our first initial personal consultation.
then we can talk further on that case. That's how things should work out. So you already made me an expert in Tagalog now, I believe, correct?
Galing. Siya lang ata ako yung attorney na nakakaintindi ng Tagalog po na talagang hindi ko na kailangan i-translate si Atty Gehi.
Actually, I do want to emphasize that your card says that in your law firm, you have foreign languages spoken at Gehi and Associates: Hindi, Punjabi, Polish, Nepali, Bengali, Urdu, Spanish, and Jurugati. And I guess we should include Filipino or Tagalog.
Yes, we'll also, I already spoke Tagalog. You still want me to put it on my card? So you want me to give you a life testament or something? Come on, I'm your endorsement here. You don't need a card, Louis. Come on.
Jamila,
The video is enough for people to, by the way, just manage the basics, okay? But if I need advanced, I can either go to Rosetta Stone, I can call Jamila, I can call you. I'm just kidding.
Of course, you can call us.
Of
There
course.
are some things that money can buy, but for everything else, there's Jamila.
What we're excited
There
about.
are some things that money cannot buy. For everything else, we have Jamila.
Salamat.
Maraming salamat. Yeah,
Pero-
Jamila is a blessing to a lot of us. Yes. Jamila and I are excited because your new office, I know you have 3 offices, but your new office is in Jackson Heights, where the Filipino area is, near
That is
Woodside.
correct.
And they can eat, if they do a consultation with you, there's a lot of Indian stores, grocery, and also restaurant, and also the Filipino area. Kaya kayong mga Pilipino, mga kababayan, kung meron po kayong time, pwede po kayong mag-free consultation kay Atty Gehi sa Jackson Heights. That's 7409 37th Avenue, the 74th area, the Indian area and Filipino area in Jackson Heights, Queens. 718-263-5999 and info@gehilaw.com. Jamila, we have a few more minutes for additional questions.
I have something to say now.
Yes, po.
Yes po.
Yes.
Now, we've also been helping a lot of these Filipino nurses who are sponsoring the family members, especially a lot of them are in Long Island. For them, we kept our Jamaica office also open on Saturdays.
Mhm.
People who are in Long Island and who live more towards the east, they can come into a Jamaica office on Saturday. And if people want to come in on Sunday, we also have the Jackson Heights open. Jackson Heights office open. They can see us, and we can analyze the situation. And the personal consultation is free. And if you're in Brooklyn, you can visit us at our office in Ozone Park. And besides immigration, we do New York divorces, we do bankruptcies, we handle litigation matters. So there are a lot of different things we do. And I love the Filipino community. They're just awesome people. And above all, the food is very delicious, I must tell you that. So one other reason why I'm with you on the show is because, Jamila, I'm in love with the Filipino food for sure. And I want you to know that the day you told me, would you be ready to come to the show, my first condition to Louis was, if you're going to get me Filipino food for sure, I'll be on your show. And if you're getting me that, that's the only way you can bribe me. Otherwise, I'm not coming on your show.
Yes, my birthday's coming up, so we should
Are
do
you trying
that.
to tell me that you're going to give me a party on your birthday? You're going to reverse the roles or something?
We should definitely do that to the Filipino area, which is a few steps away from your office. So the Jamaica office is 173-29 Jamaica Avenue in Jamaica, Queens. How about our Ozone Park office? Jamila, you can mention the address, please.
Yes, the Ozone Park office is on 104-05 Liberty Avenue, Ozone Park, New York, 11417, and the number is 718-577-0711. Again, the Ozone Park office is 104-05 Liberty Avenue, Ozone Park, New York, 11417, 718-577-0711.
Attorney, I know a lot of people are excited about the immigration reform, pathway to citizenship, but the DACA and TPS recipients are already capable of doing some changes to their visas, right? Would you mind talking about DACA and TPS?
No, there's something very important that most DACA recipients don't know about. If you got your work permit and if you got your DACA approved before your 18th birthday, so that's great news for you. So even if you got your DACA approved before your 18th birthday, you find an employer, your employer can directly sponsor you for the green card. So you don't even have to worry about it. And if you get your TPS, you had an illegal entry to America, you can legalize it by traveling on parole. So remember, once you legalize that entry, then you can adjust your status in America under Section 245A of the Immigration and Nationality Act and still qualify for a green card based upon the sponsorship of your spouse, who's a US citizen or a green card holder, depending on the situation, if you don't have unlawful presence. So there's a lot of ways for people to qualify for a green card. And one other thing I tell artists, entertainers, look into the O visa category. If you are Mr. Brilliant in the Philippines, you're that well-known boxer, or if you're into Tai Chi, or if you're into martial arts, and if you've been up there, if you're a celebrity, you represented the Philippines, or if you represented France, Germany, or you're from any country watching this show, you can self-sponsor yourself for a green card, folks. Self-sponsor yourself for the green card. You just have to be someone who's a celebrity, someone who's been in those big newspapers, someone who's been in the New York Times, someone who's been there. Self-sponsor yourself. I wish, Jamila, I could give my credentials to someone, and I can promise you they should be eligible to get the green card.
Attorney, you're talking about that, right? Like we're producers, we make films and productions. How about if we were, for instance, if it's me, I'm putting up a production to create a movie here, but all my talents are foreigners. What type of visa do I need to prepare for that? And also for concerts, if I were to produce a concert,
yes,
do I need to give them
yes,
a work
so we
visa?
can get them. See, this is the work I've done, a lot of work for Bollywood, plus I've done for other countries too. And most of the actors and all, there's one good thing about being a lawyer. Rather than you running after the actor runs after you. Rather than you running after the actor runs after you. So when you get a chance, try to get a law degree, Louis, if you want those actors to run after you. So that's the first thing I would say. So, first thing you do is you can get them a year on a P visa. P as in Prince.
P visa.
Yeah, P as in Prince. You can get them on a P visa and they can perform and they can go back. But if you have that solo artist who's extraordinary, very famous, get them on an O visa. O is extraordinary ability. You have this great dancer. You have this guy who boxes as great as Muhammad Ali. And he wants to train someone in boxing. Get them on a P visa.
Yes.
And there are many ways for Filipinos to come to America. I've seen people from the Philippines contacting me. I want help with the student visa. That's a possibility too. I want to come here on a visit visa. That's a possibility too. I want to start a company in America. That's a possibility too. If you have that frame of mind, wherein you want to get things done, it's important for you to begin with the lawyer. And, our services are meant for people to retain a lawyer. But if you're doing it on your own, you have to call immigration straight up.
Attorney, how about I have a friend of mine who has a student visa, but because of the pandemic, wasn't able to enroll again, so it lapsed. So if she was to do an adjustment, does she go back to a student visa and process it again, or what is something she can do?
If she marries an American citizen, she may still qualify for a green card in America. She may not have to leave the country. So that's good news.
Okay. So even though her visa is lapsed a few months now, there's a way to do it. And I guess to do a free consultation with you first.
Free personal consultation. As email us. That is critically important. And, I try my best to remove time and make sure that exactly, people resolve the immigration matter. Now, one very important question, Louis. What is the problem with most immigrant communities?
Mm-hmm.
The problem is they keep blaming the government. The issue is the law also requires you to be proactive in resolving your immigration matter. People have relatives I tell them sit and sponsor. Get yourself sponsored by your sister, by your brother, by your mother, by your father. Don't be lazy. Don't be laid back, because that's going to cost you a lot. When the new law comes in, the first thing that people will look at is whether basically, you have an application pending. Try to make sure you have an application pending with immigration. That's going to really help you a lot. And besides that, if you are a green card holder, try to become a citizen as soon as possible, because there are many, many benefits for you to become a citizen, and those benefits are not available to green card holders.
Jamila, one more question before we do a wrap up.
Yes, thank you, Luis, for that. And we have a question from Reginald, and it's in Tagalog English again, and I will read it. Yung mom ko po nasa Pinas ngayon. Gusto niyang bumalik dito sa New York. She's 81 years old and a US citizen. Hindi siya nakadual. 1 year na siya nandoon sa Philippines noong December. And my questions are, may kailangan ba siyang gawin para makabalik dito? At since overstaying na siya doon, or may exemption because of the pandemic, magstay lang siya ng ilang months dito and then ulit uuwi siya sa Philippines. Pwede na ba siyang umuwi sa Pinas with a blue passport? So what he's saying here is that my mom is in the Philippines. She wants to come back here in New York. She's 81 years old and a US citizen. She's not on a dual citizenship. She's been staying there for a year from December.
She can still come back because
Okay.
she's an American citizen. She doesn't have to worry about it. But
Okay.
had she been a green card holder, then you had a problem. But for a citizen, that's not a problem at all.
Oh,
Okay.
attorney, yeah. What is the limit of green card holders staying in the Philippines and not coming back? Is there a limit?
I tell them to come back within 6 months. You won't be asked questions. After 6 months, they start asking questions. But after 12 months, they won't allow you to come in.
And it might be complicated when you do your U.S. citizenship, right?
Yeah, therefore, never try to stay in the Philippines or in any other country for more than 6 months.
Even during the pandemic,
Yes, I mean, I would recommend you.
come back.
Saves 9. Prevention is better than cure.
Exactly. That's the reason why you should hire a lawyer if it was attorney or somebody else. But otherwise, Attorney Gehi, his Gehi and Associates has free first-time consultation, 718-263-5999. He has 3 offices. Before we do a wrap-up, Jamila, we're going to ask Attorney Gehi like a sentence or 2 minutes or so. We always want to have him encourage all of us immigrants to actually do their best in becoming proper U.S. citizens here in America. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Attorney Gehi encouraging all immigrants to do the same and be their best here in America. Attorney, your words of wisdom, please.
Firstly, from the bottom of my heart, and I'm very proud of the Filipino community. And they're very special to me. They're very unique to me. And they are extremely extraordinary to me. They're special, unique, and extraordinary. I cannot thank the Filipino community enough for their contributions to the United States of America. If I have to write a volume, if I have to write a book, it's going to be difficult for me to describe the great experiences that I've had with Filipinos. There's an unspoken rule in the world, not only in America. It's very, very difficult for anyone to beat the Filipino work ethic. Absolutely brilliant. Hats off to the Filipino community. They're very honest. They're very industrious. They're very hardworking. And that's why I tell all our Filipino friends, that little thing in your life, which is known as the green card, may be an impediment in your way. But remember, my dear Filipino friends, when the great get going, the going gets great. Believe in yourself. Set a goal for yourself. And just think about one mission. That's Mission Green Card. The day you get it in your mind, I can assure you, there'll be nothing that will stop you from accomplishing a mission. That's my message to the wonderful Filipino community today.
Yes, we are so honored to feature you in this show. Of course, this is your show, and we want to feature you because we highly recommend you, Attorney Gehi. Thank you very much for being part of our community here in Queens. We are so excited that soon, we're hoping to have an open house in your new office in Jackson Heights, but due to the pandemic, can't do that yet. But soon, I know you'll open up, and we will gladly have an open house in your office at 7409 37th Avenue, second floor in Jackson Heights. So, Jamila, thank you very much, Attorney. Of course, Jamila will mention again the different phone numbers and information about Gehi Law, Gehi and Associates. Ladies and gentlemen, Jamila will have the last say in telling us the information about Gehi and Associates of Attorney Gehi.
Thank you so much, Louis. So those information, you can see on the screen right now. You have the Jackson Heights office, you have the Jamaica office, and the Ozone Park office. The closest one to the Filipino community is actually the Jackson Heights office, which is their number is 718-263-5999. It's gehilaw.com, and their office is on 7409 37th Avenue, Suite 205, and that is their Jackson Heights office, 718-263-5999, gehilaw.com, 7409 37th Avenue, Suite 205.
So on behalf of Attorney Gehi, thank you very much. Maraming salamat po, namaste. And Jamila Rose Linesen and PHLB Radio, Sir Johan, our director. I'm Louis Pedron saying goodbye from Jackson Heights, Queens, New York. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat po.
Salamat.
Maraming salamat po.